There's one message we would ask the active Marine Corps to get back to the United States Marine Corps is that this is still a military town. And the support that exists here is ready to help any active duty Marine in any, and their supported units in any way, shape, or form. You just have to reach out and ask, and we'll certainly ask you how we can help. So don't forget that.
But we do it because we've been fortunate enough to work with really great people. We meet a lot of people, and they're great to work with. And the events at which we work are good events. They're for a good cause. So that makes a lot of difference to us. So, but again, my bride is the driving force, so I want to make sure she gets her due reward here. We hope to continue as long as we can. Thank you very much.
Logisticians, I think, are the most important Marines. They're the ones that make the decisions, the hard decisions, to do things that we don't like to do. They're going to be making those decisions for the Marine Corps in the future that's going to ensure the viability of the Corps.
So let me first begin and say it really is good to be a Marine. The last 15 years of combat in Afghanistan and Iraq, Marines have absolutely preserved the generations of reputations of Marines. In fact, you can say without question that they've added to it immeasurably. Corporal Jason Dunham, Corporal Dakota Meyer, Corporal William Carpenter, Captain Brian Shantosh, just to name a few famous names that we know, but all you need to do is go downstairs to the memorial and see the names on the wall and recognize that many have contributed to this great nation in this last campaign and have done so with great honor. I recently left joint duty in Europe, and it was a fantastic service, fantastic tour, but I can tell you without a doubt, without question, that the Marines are relevant and the Marines are on the forefront in every part of the globe. It is not a fable story. The combatant commanders' first question in the ops sections are, where are my Marine expeditionary units? Where is the Marine? Where are the Marines? It's followed by, where's my Carrier Strike Group? But the first question that the combatant commander asks for is, where are the Marines? And through observing through the Department of Defense how we allocate force around the globe, and because Marines are expeditionary in nature, we have the ability to span the range of military operations because we're expeditionary. We are the go-to force. So it really is good to be a Marine. But let's remember, it's also good to be paranoid. General Conway once commented that paranoia was a character trait of every Marine. And we all remember the famous words by General Krulak, America doesn't need a Marine Corps, they want a Marine Corps. So we're very mindful of that. So today, there are roughly 182,000 Marines on active duty. 29,000 Marines are deployed around the globe in 31 different countries. The 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit is afloat in the Mediterranean, in the Middle East. The 13th MU will be shipping out here in a couple of weeks to join up in her station for Central Command. We have 2 Marine MAGTAFs, one in Europe that supports the African Command, and we have another one that's in the Middle East that supports CENTCOM. We have Marines that are in Jordan, offloading maritime pre-position ships in an exercise. We, down the street in 29 Palms, we routinely are exercising at the brigade, battalion, and division levels. And in fact, just recently, this fall, the VMFA 121, the Green Knights, with our brand new F-35 Lightning, was in support of maneuver operations of the 1st Division, so a first for us. Very busy, as you can see, down in Southern California. This fall, I had the distinct pleasure to see General Dunford relinquished command to General Neller, our 37th Commandant. And very quietly, and I know if General Neller was here, he would be agreeing with me and shaking his head. I know it firsthand because he said it. We all were very, very sad to see General Dunford get picked up to be a chairman. We really wanted to see the president sidestep him because we all are very fond of General Dunford. But I would tell you that we couldn't have asked for a better commandant than General Neller. I've served with General Neller. I've worked with General Neller. He is a cross-section between a pit bull and a Doberman Pinscher. He is absolutely a proven combat leader, and he's a visionary. So he's absolutely the right man for our Marine Corps future. But I think more importantly, what I would share with you about General Neller is he's probably one of the most compassionate Marine Corps officers I've ever met. And people that know him see it, and you can see it in his actions. He is absolutely enthralled and interested in every Marine, right down to the private. And if there was a private and a general sitting in the room, he's going to talk to the private. And that's just the kind of man he is. And I would tell you that most of us look at that characteristic of his leadership, and we think that sets him apart. So let me take a minute and just kind of update you where we are in the Marine Corps. Each commandant publishes his guidance to the force. And General Neller would readily admit to you that General Dunford, in less than a year of his commandancy, had a pretty good direction in which way the Marine Corps was going to go. But General Neller did share with us his 5 focus areas. And while I don't have all the details and I can't share them all with you, I would like to share kind of the general principles of where we're focused on. First, General Neller's comment to all of us was that our center of gravity is our people. About 37% of our Marines are Lance Corporals and below. That's our most junior rank, really, in the Marine Corps. 61% of our Marines are 25 years and younger. So we are truly the youngest force in the service. Fewer than 1 in 9 is an officer. And then, as you can see in recent conversations in the Department of Defense, the discussion about the volunteer force and about what that means about the type of people that we are recruiting and retaining. Something I know you're absolutely knee-deep in over there. But for the Marine Corps, it's absolutely important for us to attract the right people, the right quality people. It's on the Commandant's mind, and especially when you look at the statistics that less than 2% serve in our military, and that of 1 in 4 have the qualifications for service, you can see why that is so very important to the leadership. General Neller came out very sharply on 1 January and said, we will integrate the force. I think we'll see these set of standards that we've laid out be non-negotiable. So if you can pass that test, if you can do those repetitions and you can sustain it in that thing, then you have a right to serve. Women make up roughly about 7% of the force. So I think the real question will be is how well you can recruit and find that 1 in 4 that I talked about and those women that really want to do that. I have my own personal opinions on it, but at the end of the day, Marines are Marines. And if you can uphold the standard and you can be a part of that organization and live to that standard, then have at it. I think if you want to join the infantry or if you want to drive a tank, you have to be able to lift 200 pounds out of a hatch, put them on your back and bring them off that tank. If you want to be a reconnaissance Marine, you better know how to swim 2,000 yards and pass those basic elements in order to see if you can make the team. So I think that's the benefit of what will come out from what we are a little bit ahead of the Army on what our standards are, and no kidding, lay them out for them to what that is. Let me just add one more point to this. And I was talking to the Marines at the table here. When I talk about people, and when I make the remark about the Department of Defense looking at the future force, how do you retain, attract the future force? And if you understand the dynamic of the pool of people you have, and you look at the battlefield and say it will be different, and you look at the recent events in cyber and computer warfare and information warfare, one of the things that I think that the Secretary is looking at is sometimes it may be the young lad that's got orange hair, lots of earrings. He is the very, just a different young man or a young woman. But that future American potential service member is the one, the absolute one, you want to be sitting behind the terminal that's going to be a part of that cyber team that can conduct offensive cyber operations to protect the United States. How do you go after that individual and look at those traits and those attributes that you want from that individual? Now, I could make the same correlation to women. I could make the same correlation to a man. You're looking for the best attributes for that person to serve, and serve honorably and professionally, and contribute to the overall combat effectiveness. Because when it comes down to it, the most important thing the Marine Corps cares about is combat effectiveness. Can you go and close and locate and kill the enemy? I mean, that's really what we do. I'm very confident in the leadership of the Marine Corps. And I'm also confident that we understand our civilian authorities and what they tell us to do. And I'm also confident that regardless of which way this goes, we're not going to change the way we make Marines. I mean, we have a pretty high standard. You didn't get where you were, and we owe it all to our former Marines to uphold a very, very high standard. And I think you would agree that everybody in this room understands, and we all recognize, the history that we have on our shoulders. And we're not going to toil with that.